welcome back to Talking Baseball for another TPP, Team Profile and Projection. And on today's episode, we are talking about your Chicago White Stockings, AL Central Pests, Trevor Plouffe's favorite team in the AL Central, Jake's second. They are both sitting next to me as we do this. And are we excited or what to talk about these guys?
Who?
I'm excited.
Another off-season winning team, which you you hate those teams.
I mean, you can win the offseason, but who cares?
That doesn't mean anything come March 28th.
You know, it really means something if you win spring training.
Yeah, that's true.
The Marlins are like 5-0 right now.
We saw that today.
Book the ticket.
The White Sox, as we said, had a fantastic offseason. They've been in a rebuild for a while. We've seen a lot of teams do the rebuild. The Cubs did it successfully. It took them like 3 to 4 years. The Astros did it successfully, asterisk or whatever you want to say there. The Yankees did a really, kind of like a reboot type thing where they sold some pieces and then in 2 years they were back. We've seen a lot of teams do this. The White Sox feels like they've been rebuilding and it's actually taken the full 5 years to get there. They finally have the homegrown talent, and now they're sprinkling in the free agent signings. We had some big ones this offseason. We had the biggest one, I think, is Grandal, who comes in, take over the catcher position. You got Gio Gonzalez and Dallas Keuchel.
Edwin
Encarnacion. You got Cishek in the bullpen. You got a lot. And they didn't lose that many people.
I got to say, they made some moves, but I don't know if they won the offseason. Now that we're talking about the moves and who they brought in, they made moves.
A lot of people made a lot of moves this offseason.
Yes.
So who cares about that? They made moves. I'm happy for it. I like when teams do that. And they didn't lose that many people. They lost Ivan Nova. They lost Yalmer. And they lost John Jay. They didn't care about him anyway. They just brought him in.
I think John Jay, friend of the pod, love him.
Our biggest thing about the White Sox winning the offseason is that as a part of their rebuild, they wanted to sign big dudes. They were in on Harper and Machado.
Well. That was reported.
No,
there
wasn't.
Their GM came out and said they
out.
offered more money for Machado.
Yeah, he went to sleep thinking
it
they were going to get him.
It doesn't matter what they say.
Okay.
We don't know what was really going on, and that happens a lot.
Well, we
know who the puppets are for these agents. We know there's some puppets for teams. I don't think we can sit here and say they were for sure all in on some of these.
Well,
guys.
even if we're not for sure, they were they were in on them. B is that I think for the White Sox, what they did this offseason is better for them. Like, I don't think Manny Machado changed them, but I think when you bring in Grandal, Keuchel, who's the other pitcher they brought in? Gio. Edwin Encarnacion, even on, a one-year flyer, seeing what Big Eddie's got left, I like that to fill out the roster rather than, hey, we got Machado. Like, I don't think that solved this team's problems.
Do you know what their record was last year?
What was their record, Trevor Plouffe?
72-89.
It's bad.
So we're talking, they made some moves.
Bad.
Did they make enough moves? I think really what they're banking on is another leap forward, Lucas Giolito type leap. Because
your guy.
If they can have a few of those guys jump like he did,
right?
Where he became a legitimate ace.
That's a real jump.
That's a jump. They need some more of those. They need a couple of the young guys to do that.
They locked up and bought out the arbitration of a lot of players.
Yes,
I love it. I think that it tells the players, like, hey, we love you. We want you around for the long haul. We believe you're going to be worth it. And they did it with, like, Aaron Bummer. They did it with – we've been doing this all offseason. They did it with a bunch of guys.
Yes.
That's got to be a good feeling as a player.
Luis Robert.
Luis Robert. I mean, they did it with a bunch of the other guys that are already up. To tell – it, like, doubles down on the players, like, hey,
I like
let's do this.
I do like it, and I think players obviously like it. But I think more of what that signals is that's kind of the way that teams will start spending money in the future. And they're starting to do that already.
They're early on it, though, because they did it the last couple of years.
You take chances with these guys. You pay them. It's a lot of money. But in the grand scheme of things, like, I always go back to the Acuna thing. They signed him to a 7-year, $100 million contract. And, that's not – they didn't give any of these guys that. But, what they're trying to do is let's take a swing at 3 of these guys. And if we hit on one of them, we're going to save some money. Does it give players security and a sense of them knowing a team wants them, yes, and I think that does help their performance. But I don't think they're doing this like, we believe in these guys and we're going to be good to them and just give them some money. They're doing it because it's a smart business play.
It's both, though.
Well,
I normally
I'm being real critical right now
and
to
that's
start,
fine.
and I do like what they've done.
For
I'm just
anyone who
trying
has
to,
no idea,
I'm trying to
Trev played for the Twins and is very big in Twins Nation. So
That's not no.
Wow.
Let's
hey,
stop that.
when
Let's
when
stop
we
that.
talk about AL East
Wow.
teams, we say, hey, this is a Yankee fan, but I'm trying to
Oh
dial
my
it down a little
God.
bit.
Yeah, but I
You
don't.
can only dial it down so much, and that's fair.
I don't have this like undying Twins fandom. I don't.
Wow.
I mean, I played for them.
I mean, you still got juice.
You
there.
still got a little
see
I
it.
got
juice.
juice there, no doubt. But I'm just saying, like, the way teams are doing this because it's a smart business play for them.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if they let these guys, if they,
But if you're Aaron Bummer, you're gonna be excited about that.
you are, and it's very hard to turn that down.
Right.
Okay, but you look at some of these deals, some of these guys do. I mean, Salvador Perez was excited about 5 years, $8 million. Probably didn't turn out too well for him. They ended up extending him, giving him the money.
Right.
But like that's a
5
smart
years,
play.
$8 million.
Yes, with a bunch of options on top of it. They
Yeah.
ended up paying him after the World Series, but it's a smart business play.
Yeah.
John, I normally do my douchey. Well, when I look at this team, I got to start with the pitching. Where are you with the White Sox? Where do you want to go, bro?
Well, I like the pitching because of this. Last year, Ivan Nova started the most games for them, and then Ronaldo Lopez started the second most. And he wasn't that great. And Nova had a good stretch at one point in the second half, but then it failed. Giolito was obviously amazing, and then he got injured a little bit. The White Sox, Ivan Nova's not gone. Ronaldo Lopez is pushed down to like the fifth starter. You got Giolito coming back. You got Keuchel and Gonzalez, who couldn't find jobs last year because they were attached to draft picks, which is so stupid. I like Keuchel. He's a guy that
I
gives
like
you a
Keuchel.
chance to win every game, and a veteran on this
He
staff.
was great last year.
Giolito had no one to lean on
Yeah.
as like a veteran in the rotation with him.
Yes.
So I like Keuchel and Gio for though. I've heard a lot of stories about Gio Gonzalez, and he's a really good dude and a really good teammate
Yes.
and a good pitcher. So what they need, like if Giolito can be that stud
I think it
number
can be.
one,
Yeah.
then Keuchel and Gonzalez are good 2-3s. I like that, and all you need to do is get games out of them.
Yeah, I don't. Lucas, I don't think there's anywhere for him to go. Like he was so good last year, so you can't even project him to do better. I mean, hopefully you can, because I like him. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a buddy of mine, but he was so good that so
Yeah.
you kind of have that. Like if you get that again, you're stoked. If you're the White Sox, like please, like let's
You're
just have a
saying
repeat.
repeat.
Just let's have a repeat.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, regress a little bit, and we'll still take that.
Yeah. And
I'm looking at Gio's numbers, and I was gonna say I like the Keuchel move. Gio doesn't do anything for me, but now as I'm looking at his numbers, I mean, I knew he was a good pitcher, in previous years, but he's doing quite well, pretty recently.
if you want to get in a good online fight, bring up Gio Gonzalez because the
Okay.
analytics are fully against Gio. But
I'm looking at some projections now. They got him projected for like a 4 ERA. That's pretty good out of a guy that you want to put in your 3 spot or 4 spot.
And he's one of the guys where analytics doesn't fully click. Because guess what? Know what Gio Gonzalez knows? How to pitch at the major league level because he's
Yeah.
been doing it.
Same with Keuchel.
Here's the thing: do you want to see Gio Gonzalez match up against the Twins lineup?
I don't. I
He's
don't.
gonna have to.
You're not interested in
You
that
know,
game?
I love my Twins.
Several times he's gonna have to do that.
You know I love my Twins. That Twins lineup, man. And I guess for me, the White Sox are all about their young guys. Because a dude we haven't mentioned yet is Dylan Cease. He got the call last year. He was bad, to be honest, but he's a big-time prospect. Giolito, like you already mentioned. And then it starts pivoting to the young guys in the lineup. Eloy Jimenez is supposed to be the special dude. He showed us a little bit of that. Does he take the leap?
Yon Moncada.
Moncada had a huge year last year. I'm a big Moncada guy. I think he's special. I think there's a chance that that Red Sox White Sox trade of Chris Sale,
It's gonna be tough.
it's going to start looking a little different in a few years. And then there's a couple other guys. Kopech, he was a huge
Faced him.
prospect.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Huge prospect. I think he had Tommy John. He'll be coming back at some point this year.
Are you worried about having? You're worried about having 2 Gios on the team because Giolito's nickname is Gio. Gio Gonzalez's name is
I'll leave it to the
Gio.
expert on
So
that.
could this be
Am I the
confusing?
expert?
Do you
Yeah.
think that gets
Do you
confusing?
think
Well,
this
I
could
think-
maybe get confusing in the
I
clubhouse?
think there's Gio and then there's G Elite,
Ooh.
ELITEO.
And which one is?
What do you mean?
Oh,
I think that Lucas Giolito will just go by that from now on.
Giolito.
Elite.
The girl from Giolito, she's lovely. You like that?
I don't like that.
Okay.
I think the biggest addition is Grandal.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, maybe the best catcher in baseball.
Brand new batteries all around. New pitchers, new catcher.
Yeah, and you know when I'm looking at the lineup now, there's a ton of young guys, and that makes me think the year could go one of two ways. You know, it could if they all take that step forward, they could be great. If they
Right.
all kind of struggle a little bit, because it is hard. I mean, when you're young in
Right.
the big leagues, it's hard. So if they have a few bad months and they just kind of snowball like that, we could potentially see this White Sox team finish third in the Central.
Yeah.
And if best case scenario, they're second. I don't think they're gonna beat the Twins. They're not gonna
Ooh.
take the AL Central from the Twins' hands.
That's that's interesting. Everything would have to go right, and I think a lot of things would have to go wrong in Twins land.
Yes.
I think there is a world, but it's very slim, and it would be those guys I just named being special. I mean, Luis Robert is supposed to be.
Well, they are special. These are good baseball players.
But baseball's a really tough sport.
Very
Look at
tough.
and Moncada's the perfect example. His first
Yes.
year, he came up, he looked terrible. Red Sox win the World Series, and everyone's saying, "Oh, you have prospects." And then Moncada comes back the next year, and he's like a 2.5 WAR guy, and he looks good. Year after that, last year, he's a 5+ WAR guy,
awesome.
switch hitter.
I'm not worried about him at all.
No, but Luis Robert, I mean,
Yeah.
he could come up this year and not be great because baseball's a really tough sport.
Mazzara's the same way.
Yeah.
I've got to see him play when I did spring training with Texas. I like what he's about. If he takes a step forward and can kind of start to handle lefties, which he's never done, I think that would help them a ton.
Yeah.
There's a guy out there that could help them, and I think maybe will end up being on their team. Do you know who it is?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Love that.
Wild Horse.
Love it.
Yasiel Puig.
Do you
That was
know
my
that
ne-
we've been on this?
Do you know that was my next conversation? You stole it from me.
Well, that's you've been
you
stealing
guys
content
were-
from me all week.
You guys were gonna stop talking, and I was gonna say, "Are we mad they haven't signed Puig yet?"
I think I don't know what they're thinking there, and maybe Puig's like, maybe he's weighing offers.
He's not.
I don't know what Yasiel whatsoever, but
I think you'd like him.
he could help that team. He could be insurance for Robert. Maybe he starts
All
the
of it.
year.
All of it.
He can platoon with Mazzara, except he's not exactly a lefty killer.
Right.
His splits are pretty
Even.
So not exactly a platoon partner you're looking for, but he definitely fits into this lineup.
But I mean, even if one injury, which will happen, I mean, you can juggle that so easily. And
I agree. I think he's worthy of a 40-man spot. 26 guys on the roster this year. He could fit on this team. But with a guy like Yasiel, is he going to be okay with that role? Is he okay with platooning? Is he okay with sitting on the bench for 5 days if someone gets hot? I don't know if he is. And and then if he's not,
now you're
do
having
you
a
want
bad
that
time.
in the clubhouse?
Yeah, that's a great point. But so speaking of the clubhouse and the dugout and all of it,
Okay.
all the hangouts,
Yes, sir.
bullpen too, I'll
Fun.
include it. Last year I said this a lot. The White Sox were one of the loosest teams in MLB.
Mhm.
They were having so much fun. They were
Yeah.
giving each other shit. They were having a blast, and it played really well for the public perception and fans because they didn't have expectations. They were just supposed to be continuing to get better, and they were doing that. And I kept saying, I think the White Sox clubhouse is super fun, but if it's this fun in 2020 without taking another step up and really winning more games,
Yeah.
the public perception is going to turn on them on a dime
Yes.
and be like, they're not serious. So
Yes.
this is kind of a not make or break year. They need to be competitive this year. I don't think they need to get a playoff spot, but they need to be in the hunt come the end, or it will very much feel like, oh my God, a bug just flew in my ear. It'll very much, in the headphones, they'll very much feel like,
A bug in your ear.
yeah, bug in your ear. That's what it'll feel like if they don't, if they aren't
Okay.
competing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not hating on them because I do like what they've done. I mean, it's taken years. I don't like the rebuilding thing.
Right.
But they did it, so now the window's coming for them. I just don't see a way into the playoffs for them. You got to win the AL Central. They're not going to win a wild card.
I think the AL
And they are
Central is a
not
one-team
Going
division.
to beat the Twins and take that from them. So How excited can you be about the White Sox? I think you're excited for the future. You want to see these guys
take
take
a
step forward.
If you're a White Sox fan, you should be very excited because what they've had in the last couple of years versus what they had now, they're up and up and up. So I think if you're a White Sox fan, just like I said about the Blue Jays fan, the expectations aren't we're going to go make the playoffs and win a ton, but the expectations will be, hey, we're going to be fun. It's just going to be competitive. So I think you should be excited.
Yeah, and I'll say this because we're trying to get them in the playoff hunt, and how does that happen? I think this is a team that if they get off well and they get rolling a little bit, that a couple trades would make us like this team a lot more. We've talked about a couple of the pitchers that could potentially be moving. Another solid arm in that rotation, another solid arm in that bullpen if the lineup is doing its thing. I think we like this team a little more, maybe to give the Twins some run, but they're a little bit away.
What do you got, Jim?
Well, we only have 1 minute on the video, so if it cuts out on YouTube, you're just going to hear the audio and a freeze frame of us talking because we're not done yet.
We're not done.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
You know who came out hot last year?
Who came out hot?
Got everyone excited? Mariners.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, but no one expected the Mariners to be good last year.
Did people expect it? What's their projection? Where do we got?
I think people are expecting the White Sox to be a competitive team, over 500.
Okay.
The division is.
I can see that.
The division is. It is the only division in MLB with 2 losers.
Okay. Yeah.
Like going into the season, the Royals and the Tigers will not be good.
Yeah, and I think the White Sox will join them.
Who?
Wow.
So
not join them in that deep end, but they're still in the shallow end of the pool.
So check this out.
So you still like Cleveland a lot more than the White Sox?
I do.
The over-under is 80.5 games. So it's right there.
I know, yeah.
It's right there.
I'm going to take under. I don't think they get to 500 this year. The way they do it is if they sweep the series against the Royals and the Tigers, but who cares?
Who does the AL Central play this year?
Where do they go?
I'm guessing the NL West.
If they play the NL West, I have them as the over. If they play the NL
East.
Central or East, I have them as the under.
Negative 124 run differential last year.
It's bad.
It's not good.
That's bad.
They didn't do a lot in this offseason. I think we mentioned the names. They got Grandal. Great.
They did a lot. They got Keuchel. Keuchel and Gio are huge for that rotation.
I like Keuchel too, but I don't think he's going to elevate you to the playoffs.
Give me the
I mean, he's good, but they need more than that.
division's bad. They stay a little competitive. They had an Alex Cobb or a Chris Archer type.
Oh, you want them to add? They're not going to add.
I think they're adding.
They will not add
Dude, think about
this season unless they are hot.
They signed Yasmani Grandal, who was
for
as
how
you
long?
said-
They play the NL West this season. I'm taking the over. I got him winning 82 games.
You said he's arguably the best catcher in baseball.
Yeah, I
That's
like
a
him.
fair discussion. Keuchel is a reliable guy in a rotation you're going to find.
Wait.
They've got so many young guys. They paid out Luis Robert. This team thinks they're competing, which I think is going to have them close enough to the wild card.
Hey, spring training, everyone thinks they're competing.
Not the Orioles, but we just saw that. I think they're going to be close enough. I think Kenny Williams is still the GM there. He likes to make moves and be loud and competitive.
How long do they sign Grandal for?
I think
4
years?
years, something like that.
I think they're banking on
4 for 75,
I think
something
they're
like
banking
that.
on those middle 2 years.
They got the Giants and the Padres on their
Okay.
schedule, as well as the Royals and the Tigers. I'm taking the over, barely, but I'm taking the
I
over.
see, like,
And you know what?
yeah,
I
but
like,
they got to steamroll those teams to do that. They got to
Fine.
win all the games.
I want them to be rewarded, is the thing. So I want like karma to work in their favor. I don't need them to make the playoffs, but I want them to have a winning season.
Okay. I don't
That's
know,
fine.
man.
That's fine.
I just can't wrap my head around them doing anything but playing 500 ball.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Fun fact: Lucas Giolito's mom was in the movie The Ring. Did you know that?
I don't think I knew that, but I think that she does paintings.
Did she play the girl?
I don't think she played the girl.
Hope not, because that was like an Asian girl.
But Lucas,
Was it?
there's no video now. I got to look in the camera, but I was gonna look in the camera right in there and say, Lucas, I love you. This guy's
Wow.
a stud.
His dad tweeted at me once.
I got to see him work out, see him blossom into what he is. And,
Dungeon?
The Dungeon, baby. Dungeon's produced a lot of athletes.
I'd
there.
like to get down there.
You know why?
Why I'd like to get down there?
No. There was a good energy there, but yeah, why would you like to get down there?
All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening.
Oh, that's it.
That's the end of the show.
Edwin Encarnacion,
Go
I
White
love
Sox. Go White Sox.
I love
you,
Edwin.
I'm rooting for them. I am. I really am.
I love you, Edwin. Can the end of these now just be everyone yelling?
Trevor lied. He's not rooting for him. He's a liar.
Love you, Edwin.